every sign's stronger stars today, and the one stretch better suited to steady routine than fresh starts, are coming up in this reading. Welcome, and know that today's guidance is read from your Vedic Moon sign, calculated sidereally, with the transit houses counted from that moon sign. So listen for the sign your moon sits in, not your sun sign. For New Delhi, today is Wednesday, carrying the Tithi Krishna Amavasya, which holds until 11:06 at night. Readings today are from your moon sign. The link below finds yours in 10 seconds. The nakshatra is Pushya, running until 7:59 in the morning. Rahu Kala falls from 12:26 to 2:05 in the afternoon, a gentle window to keep to routine tasks rather than starting anything new. And today also carries the festival of Ashada Amavasya, lending the day its own quiet, reflective note. Aries, courage still finds you first today, but the real work is happening quietly at home, in your fourth house of family and your inner ground. Yesterday's gathering there likely left you more inward than usual, tender around household matters and close to your own roots. Look at work and money. Venus sits debilitated in your sixth house of daily effort. So today favors steady, unglamorous follow through over any chase for shine. For you, that means picking the one practical task in front of you and finishing it well. In relationships, Mercury, today's period lord, sits in Cancer right inside that same fourth house, keeping conversations close to home and kin. Aries, your ruler Mars is moving through your third house of communication, and courage, reaching you before caution does, is simply how you're built. So let that boldness soften into patience when someone you love is speaking. For your energy, that same fourth house pull asks you to rest where you're rooted rather than push outward. Isn't it nice when strength and stillness can share a day? Today ask you to let your courage take a quieter shape at home, among the people who know you best. Let your care today take the shape of listening fully, giving someone your undivided, unhurried attention while they speak. Nothing more expected in return. Go easy on yourself today. The stars are patient, and you can be too. Taurus, this is a day for steady hands and clear words, and what you build today has a good chance of holding. Yesterday's mind moved lightly under the moon's own light in your third house, and that ease carries forward now. Quicker to think, quicker to speak. Mercury, the lord of this period, sits with the moon and sun in Cancer, in that same third house of courage and short journeys. So today's conversations and small errands tend to land smoothly. In your second house, Mars gives you the drive to raise money matters directly, so use today for that plain, practical conversation about earnings. Taurus, Venus, your own ruler, sits weekend in Virgo in your fifth house. And because you build slowly and build things that hold, this is not the moment to force closeness. Let warmth arrive at its own pace. Saturn in your 11th house casts its full third aspect today, a gentle nudge to pace your energy, especially through the Rahu Kala window from 12 to 26 to 5 in the afternoon. That same steady, unhurried pace is yours to keep through the day. Before it closes, look for someone carrying more than they can manage alone and lend a hand with that load. Nothing needed in return. Wishing you a calm and steady day ahead. Gemini, today ask you to notice what already feels valuable to you, and that noticing is worth more than it seems. Yesterday's opening in your house of money, possessions, and what you value likely left that theme lingering, and today simply lets it settle rather than stirring anything new. In work and money, the moon sits at home in your second house with Jupiter in its most dignified place, while Mercury, your ruling planet, moves through Cancer and softens your usual quick calculations. This favors taking stock of what you already have. So spend a few minutes today reviewing one account, skill, or possession you're grateful for. In relationships, Gemini, connection still costs you nothing. Curiosity is simply how you're built, and with Mars firm in your own sign, your words carry a natural directness, people. Welcome when it's paired with warmth. A short, honest conversation serves you better than a clever one right now. In energy and health, the waning moon closes at 11:06 at night. So let your evening wind down early instead of pushing through it. Steadiness, not scattering, is where today's quiet strength lives. Let that steadiness show up as care too. Call or check in on someone who's been quiet or alone lately, simply to listen, asking nothing back. For the fuller picture behind today's reading, your complete birth chart is free to explore on our website. Let today be simple. That is enough. Cancer, today the sky gathers in your own sign, and that rare alignment sharpens everything you already do well. Yesterday, the moon opened in your house of self and vitality, and that steady, seen feeling likely carried into this morning. Mercury, today's period lord, sits right there with the sun and moon in your first house. So your words carry your intention with unusual clarity. Cancer, this favors any conversation or presentation you have been circling. So try to have those exchanges early before Rahu Kala, which runs 12:26 to 2:05 in the afternoon. In relationships, Venus sits in your third house, still finding its footing. So this may be a day to reach out first rather than wait to be read. On energy, Jupiter stands exalted in your own sign in that same first house, lifting your natural vitality, and that fits you well since the moon rules you and you read a room before anyone in it says so. This is what a gathering in your own sign feels like today. Steady, visible, and unmistakably you. Let that visibility soften into care. If you find yourself ahead of someone today, in a line, in traffic, in a meeting, offer them your place or your time, asking nothing back. May something small go beautifully right for you today. Leo, today asks you to trade your usual spotlight for a quieter kind of strength, though your unmistakable warmth stays fully intact. Yesterday, the moon opened in this same 12th house of rest and retreat, and it likely left you feeling pulled inward, ready to slow rather than perform. That pull continues for you. The moon itself now sits in this 12th house, in its own sign of Cancer, a Chandrashtama window, a natural pause rather than something to worry over. Mercury colors today's tone from Cancer, favoring listening over announcing. So let your conversations unfold at their own pace. In money matters, Venus sits weekend in your house of resources, favoring plain, careful terms over assumptions. Read any bill or agreement twice before signing. Leo, in relationships, Rahu's retrograde passage continues through your house of partnership, the seventh, which can blur what another person wants. So, Ask directly instead of guessing. Let today's rest be intentional rather than something you feel guilty about. You are ruled by the sun, and your warmth tends to arrive in a room before you do. So even a quiet day still carries that glow. That quiet is still fully yours, not a dimming, just a different shade of your usual light. Let your Siva today be patience. Take a little time to teach or walk someone through something they've been struggling with, asking nothing back for it. Carry this lightly and have a truly good day. Virgo, today the pressure eases off your own effort because the busy energy gathers instead around your gains and your circle. Yesterday, that same 11th house of gains, friends and wider networks was already crowded and lively, and today it keeps holding the spotlight. Mercury, your ruler, sits right there in Cancer, giving your natural instinct for precision good material to work with in conversations and shared plans. Saturn in your 7th house casts its steady aspect back toward you, a gentle nudge to keep agreements clear and unhurried wherever partnership is involved. Mars, from your 10th house of career, aspects that same circle, adding drive to what you build with others rather than friction. For work and money, let today's exchanges with your network move something forward, gently, without forcing it. In relationships, quiet service is the shape your care naturally takes, and someone nearby will notice it. Virgo, for your energy, pace yourself through the day and let precision, not urgency, guide your choices. That same generous, connected mood from this morning carries through the rest of your day. Before it closes, pass on something useful you no longer need to someone who could use it. Simply because it helps, nothing asked in return. The day is yours to shape. Shape it kindly. Libra, today the world is looking straight at you, especially in your career and your public standing, and people near you can feel that pull. Yesterday, that same attention opened around you. So today simply carries it a step further, and you likely feel a little more seen than usual. The sun, moon, and Mercury all sit together in your 10th house of career and public standing, with Mercury itself guiding today from Cancer. So, what you offer at work lands with real warmth as well as skill. That suits you, Libra, since you find the balance point in almost any room, ruled as you are by Venus. Favor steady, visible effort today over any single grand gesture. Venus itself sits low right now in the 12th house of rest and letting go, so relationships may ask for quieter care rather than a public show. A private word to someone close will mean more than any display. Saturn is moving retrograde through your 6th house of daily routine, asking you simply to keep habits gentle rather than pushing through them. Libra, the day still centers on being seen, and what settles it best is not more visibility, but one honest, encouraging word you have been meaning to say to someone, offered simply because it is true. Move through today at your own pace. It is the right one. Scorpio, your mind wants to travel farther than your feet today, and following that pull serves you well. Yesterday's moon opened in your 9th house of belief, learning and long journeys, likely leaving a bigger question still turning in your mind. Mercury, your period lord, moves through that same 9th house with the sun and an exalted Jupiter. So study, teaching, publishing or travel plans carry real weight now. Give any course or honest advice your full attention rather than a glance. Because Scorpio, you go deep where others skim, and that depth turns a passing idea into something lasting. Jupiter's full gaze from the ninth reaches back onto your own sign, warming how you show up with people close to you, even while Venus sits quieter in friendship and asks for patience rather than push. Mars, the planet that rules you, moves through your eighth house of transformation, familiar ground where your resilience works quietly, easy for others to underestimate. The wide, thoughtful pull that opened yesterday is still the shape of today. Let your care today be quiet. Find one chore that was never yours to do and simply handle it for someone else, expecting nothing back. May the day meet you kindly and leave you a little lighter. Sagittarius, today asks you to slow your search just enough to let something valuable settle rather than reaching past it. Yesterday's moon asked you to soften your pace in your 8th house of shared resources and deep change. And that same house now gathers the sun, moon, Mercury, and Jupiter together, favoring quiet work on shared money over launching anything new. Mercury, guiding today's period, sits right there in Cancer, so let money talk and contracts move at a gentle, patient pace rather than a rushed one. Mars in your 7th house of partnership casts its full 7th aspect straight back toward you. Sagittarius, so a partner's directness today is really an invitation to meet halfway, not a contest to win. Saturn, steady in your 4th house of home, casts its full 10th aspect outward, asking you to carry that patience into a career or public matter. Jupiter, your ruler, sits exalted in that 8th house, a reminder that your optimism and honest search for truth matter more than simply arriving first. This is also a gentle Chandrashtama day, easing by 6 in the morning tomorrow, so let real rest be tonight's practical choice. The 8th house asks for depth, not speed, and that's exactly what today gives you. Let that be enough, and take a moment to thank someone whose steady work usually goes unnoticed just for the sake of it. Whatever today asks of you, you have met harder days than this. Capricorn, partnership takes center stage today, and the connections you tend now carry real staying power. Yesterday, your house of partnership opened with the moon there, and that ease of meeting others likely carried into how the last stretch felt for you. Today, in the world of work and money, Mercury governs the day from Cancer, sitting right there in your 7th house alongside the Sun and an exalted Jupiter. This favors conversations, negotiations, and any agreement that asks two sides to align. So use today to talk plainly about terms rather than push alone. In relationships, Capricorn, that same 7th house crowding tells you the people closest to you deserve real presence. Not just planning, you are ruled by Saturn, and you play the long game by nature, not by discipline. So let that patience show in how you listen today. For energy and health, Mars sits in your 6th house and casts its aspect back toward you, which asks for a steady, sustainable pace rather than a rushed one. Pace your tasks instead of front loading them. The day keeps returning you to the same lesson that what you build with others now is built to last. In that spirit, if someone near you is unwell, consider simply sitting with them for a while and letting them set the pace, asking nothing in return. Let today be useful rather than perfect. Aquarius, The year's business quietly favors you today, especially anything tied to routines, colleagues, or health habits you have been meaning to tighten. Yesterday's ease in that same sixth house sets the tone, and today it likely still feels workable rather than heavy. That steadiness comes from a cluster of planets gathered in Cancer in your house of daily work, health, and routine, with the period lord for today, Mercury, sitting right among them. For you, Aquarius, that favors clear thinking at your desk and small fixes to how you eat, sleep, or move. Use it to close out a task or reset one habit rather than starting something sprawling. On relationships, Venus is placed in a weaker spot from your moon sign, so warmth may take a touch more effort with a partner or close collaborator. A patient, listening ear serves better than pushing for resolution today. For energy, this same routine focus window supports steady pacing over bursts, so favor consistency in how you move through the day. Aquarius, the thread from yesterday carries forward a mind that works cleanly, applied gently. Let today's small act of care be sharing a meal or some food with someone who could use it, offered simply, without expecting anything back. Walk gently today and let the day come to you. Pisces, today your imagination finds an especially bright stage. Yesterday's creative opening carried through, and you likely still feel that spark from the sun, Mercury, and an exalted Jupiter gathering in your fifth house. Now the moon itself joins them there. In your house of creativity, children, and romance, so whatever you began yesterday has room to deepen rather than fade. In work and money, Jupiter sitting in that same fifth house casts its full aspect back toward your ninth house of wisdom and opportunity, which favors sharing an idea or teaching something you know rather than sitting on it quietly. In relationships, Venus stands in your seventh house of partnership, though feeling a little unsure of itself there, and its aspect reaches toward your first house, so gentleness with yourselves steadies how you meet others today. Pisces, your compassion moves you first, and imagination reaches where analysis cannot. So trust what you feel before you overthink it. For energy, let creative or playful moments refill you rather than drain you. The day settles into that same warm, expressive note it opened on. Before you close it, consider leaving water or a little food out for a stray animal or the birds nearby, asking nothing back. May today bring you one moment worth remembering. Whatever your sign carries today, may you meet it with a steady heart, kind timing for your choices, warmth in the people around you, and a little extra ease in the small things that matter, from your work and the money you're minding, to the relationships you're tending, to the energy that carries you through the day, wherever you are on this earth tonight and tomorrow morning. Which sign are you? Tell us in the comments. If today's sky was useful, subscribing keeps it coming every morning.